Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this match I'm playing a 3v3 game on the map The Hills Have Eyes. My team is starting on the bottom and I'm in the middle, starting as the Soviets. My next Twitch stream is going to be on Thursday. I will leave the details in the description. My Twitch name is Zach the Reaper1, and on my Twitch streams what I usually do is I go through a series of quick matches which determines my place in the ranked ladder. On this map we have AI civilians which come from the middle. They are very strong, some have nukes, some have Teslas, some have flamethrowers, some throw grenades, and they're quite hard to kill if you use tanks and infantry. However, what people noticed quite early on is they get eaten by dogs, and they don't even attack the dogs, they just run past and get eaten. So as a Soviet player, the most important thing you can do is, at the start of the game, is guard you and your teammates with dogs from the civilians, because the civilians early on, they can do a lot of damage. They can destroy oil refineries, they can destroy construction yards. Sometimes people who haven't played this map before will get entirely destroyed at the start by the AI civilians. Right, let's have a look at what my teammate's doing. So he's got 3 barracks so far and he's building infantry. Possibly not the best way to start. You probably want to build an oil refinery after you build your first barracks to get your economy sorted. Right, I'm going to go for ore trucks straight away, and I'm going to go for my second war factory before my second ore refinery. A couple of reasons I'll do this. One reason is I can build more ore trucks early on in this game because you don't get rushed. If you try and go through the middle, there's lots of civilians scattered around, you only take 2 or 3 tanks, they're probably going to be almost destroyed by the time you get to your opponent's base. The other reason is I want to spread my base out so that I can have one ore refinery at one side and another ore refinery at the other side. Now the reason I've gone to the right side first is because that's the bigger ore patch. I'm going to want to have 4 ore trucks that side on the right hand side because that's a bigger ore patch, and a couple of ore trucks on the other side, and that's just to distribute my ore trucks effectively. So otherwise what will happen is the left side will run out of ore much earlier, and that'll make it very hard for the team on the left to do much in the game. Now what you'll notice on this map is that there's a lot less ore on the bottom of the map than the top of the map. This is because the top of the map is designed for 5 players, whereas the bottom of the map is designed for only 3 players. This means that the people on the bottom of the map are more likely to run out of ore earlier on, unless a top team goes silly and builds something like, let's say, 15 ore trucks, which can sometimes happen, but I'm not going to count on it because that depends on them doing something and not us. This leads to 2 options. One option is that we destroy the top team before we run out of ore. The other option is we move an MCV up to the top part of the map so we can use some of their ore. Now, because I'm in the middle, I'm just going to focus on attack. It's the end teams that have a much better opportunity of moving an MCV up to the top, because it's very hard to move an MCV up through the middle of the map. You either need transport ships or you need to move them on the right side where there's no AI civilians. I've still built a service depot because planes are used quite a lot in this map, and also building some rocketmen for defence. And I really hope my teammate is going to move his infantry, because if he leaves them there, he's going to block my ore trucks. I'm now building up my tanks ready for an attack through the middle. I always go through the middle when I attack from the bottom middle of the map. Some people try and go up the right of the map, but I tend to find that you get bottlenecked really badly there. And also there's boats you have to contend with as well, which doesn't usually work out well. You do get attacked by civilians if you go through the middle of the map, but once you kill a lot of them on your first journey up there, it does clear a clear path for future attacks. As I said earlier, you don't want to wait around too long on the bottom before you make your attack, because the bottom will run out of ore more quickly. So as soon as I get enough tanks, I'm going to move to attack the top team. Also, a common tactic on this map is to build planes, and the best way to counter an opponent who builds planes is to attack him with tanks. Now this isn't a rush, because to do a rush, what that means is it means you sacrifice your economy to attack early on, and I haven't sacrificed my economy. I'm just not waiting around, because I want to, if a person is building planes, I want to attack them before they get enough Tesla coils up to defend really well. Now I'm not going to waste time as I go through the middle. I'm going to go up as quickly as possible. The reason for that is because civilians are built in the buildings in the middle of the map, and if they run out while you're going up, I'm going to have to fight them as well, which isn't really ideal because that'll damage my tanks a lot more because they are quite strong. So I'm going up as quickly as possible. I'm hopefully going to be squashing as many as I can. And we can see the opponent's got dogs there, and that's no problem. And right, so far I can only see 2 tanks. I've got about 12, so that's going to be no problem at all. We're going to go for the war factories and construction yard first as their main buildings, and then ore refineries, and back to the opponent's selling up. He has got a service depot, so he's probably got an MCV somewhere else. He's probably either built it in his opponent's, in his allies' bases, or another part of the map. Right, we're going to go for orange now, and yeah, he's got a lot of rocket men. They do quite a lot of damage to things, and we can see we've got some civilians there firing Tesla. We're going to go for his construction yard again. We're probably going to go actually for power plants because he's just built a Tesla coil, and I don't want that to have any power. You can see my tanks are getting destroyed quite a bit, so I'm just going to try and do as much damage as possible, and hopefully halt his progression a little bit. Right, so that's the first attack. While I've been busy with them, I've just noticed that a yellow are attacking my teammate on the right. So it's green versus yellow. I'm going to send my tanks over, but it looks like I'm going to be a bit too late. We can see that my teammates' troops are just standing on the ore field, so I don't know whether he hasn't noticed or he's just given up. Yeah, you can just see they just stood there. They're not defending his base at all. I don't think he had any tanks, actually. Yeah, and troops against tanks doesn't do very well. And now he's gone. He did start moving them in the end, but it was too late. Right, they're going along the bottom. It looks, this isn't ideal for my tanks. Because of the narrow map and because of the tracking, they've become spread out, and that's really not what you want to do. You want to have your tanks grouped together when you attack, but there was no time to, in order to do that. So I'm just making the best of a bad situation at the moment. It looks like I'm okay. I'm going to destroy enough tanks so they're not going to be a threat to my base. I am going to need to build more Tesla coils now because I'm going to need to defend from yellow as well as the other teams. And I'm just sending all my troops in at the moment. I'm okay for the time being. This is going to give me some time to build up some Tesla coils to help boost my base defences. I also have a feeling that purple over in the top right of the map, just below orange, they're going to be next to the water, and those submarines that red built early on might actually become useful if they need to defend the water. Ideally, what the team on the left would do is to build some missile subs because they can really do some damage to buildings, and they also do good damage to tanks as well. Right, I'm sending up all my things through the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to attack yellow. I'm going to try and get his ore patch and destroy his ore trucks. Now, because I attacked earlier, this right route through the middle is a lot clearer than it was before, so that's a really good thing. And yeah, it's just a clear passage. And as I go to the right yellow's seen me, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to pull back a little bit and group up. He seems to be quite a good player. He's actually looking at what's going on and responding. And I've got that guy behind me, that civilian firing Tesla, which isn't ideal. Killed him now. And I'm going to fight yellow here. It looks like he's got more tanks than me. He's moving them around. He looks like quite a solid player. So this isn't going to end that well for me. I'm just going to do as much damage as I can. What it is giving me though is it's giving me some time to build up Tesla coils within my base, because I do think I'm going to get attacked soon by either green or purple, and possibly yellow as well. Right, you can see my teammate in red. He's building mammoth tanks. Mammoth tanks may not be too bad of an idea on this map, especially if you're taking them against some civilians, because what happens with mammoth tanks is when they get damaged to yellow or red health, they start to regenerate. So it might not be too bad on this map. Mammoth tanks are quite rarely used. I think they're quite expensive, and they they're not as effective as lots of heavy tanks. Now I'm just keeping an eye on yellow on the top of the map. What you have to be careful of, and it looks like Orange are doing air attacks on red now, so what red needs to do is he needs to start building rocket men or SAM sites to defend against that. One thing you need to be careful of with allied players like yellow is that they don't put an MCV in the middle of the map, because if they do that, what they start doing is they start building cruisers on that water patch, and that devastates you if you're a Soviet player. It'll be especially bad for me because I no longer have an allied player on my team because he was destroyed, so I can't even get radar jammers to defend against that. I'm just going to have to hope for now that he doesn't do that because I really don't have the funds in order to build submarines. And you can see purple, I'm now building submarines on the left part of the map, so hopefully my teammate has something to defend against them with. And I'm just taking my tanks across. Since you can see yellow's at the left now, I'm going to go to the right of the base. And we can actually see that the yellow have set up right at the top right of the map. They actually must have moved the MCV at the start because it started a bit further down. They probably moved to the top right in order so they can just focus purely on tanks and not have to worry about the water. Although that can be quite a dangerous strategy because what can happen if the allies get control of the water is they can get cruisers and attack the top middle team, especially if they're Soviets, which they were. So it can be a sort of quite dangerous strategy if to do that. Right, yellow have recognised I'm there now and they're taking their tanks across. I'm going to get this ore truck kill for now, but we can see the tanks are coming. I'll try and get another ore truck if I can. Yeah, you can see there's a couple of ore trucks there, another one there. And we can see orange are there as well, so it's not just them. I'm going to bring my tanks down because they're going to get murdered if they stay in there. And I'm going to let them come through and get bottlenecked themselves. So I'm just waiting at leaving my tanks to the other side of the gap, let them follow me through. And you can see they're in the bottleneck now, and let me get some good kills here. I probably didn't have quite enough tanks, I probably needed 5 or so more tanks. But I can't really wait around. I'm building another ore refinery because I'm going to need to spend a bit more ore because I'm going to need to be building lots of base defences as well as tanks. And we can see that red, my teammate on the left, have now been destroyed, so I can expect some air attacks probably. We can see he's bringing paratroopers in. I'm going to build a flamethrower to defend against them. You can see I've got some rocket men up just above them, but I'm not going to take them down because I don't want them to get killed. They don't do very well against riflemen, and rocket men are quite expensive compared to the other things like power plants. I built that flamethrower a bit too high up. I'll take these infantry down. I've got another power plant coming up, and that takes care of them. Right, we can see that yellow coming down the right side of the map. I'm going to need to take my tanks onto the right ore patch because otherwise I'm just going to destroy my ore trucks and cut off my economy. So yeah, I've got quite a good number of tanks now, so I should be okay. I'm just hoping they don't go along the bottom. I might need to build some more Tesla coils around that area. Now, yellow will have a good visibility on my base because you might remember that they did attack earlier on. Or, as I thought, orange are now using planes. I have got some air defences, but maybe not quite enough. I'll need to build a few more rocket men. I have got built an extra ore refinery because I can use a bit more ore now that my teammates aren't around. Yeah, I'm not in danger of running out of ore anyway. Now that my dogs are gone, we can see that civilians are coming through the left. They've just destroyed one of your trucks. That's not good. We can see that our opponents have brought a chrono tank, but the chrono tank's actually been destroyed by the civilians, so he's actually doing me a bit of help there. Right, I'm going to need to destroy those paratroopers from purple. Right, the ore truck's just going to survive, I think. Oh, now the civilian's attacking the ore truck. I'm going to need to get the ore truck away, kill the civilian with the tanks. Yeah, I do need a Tesla coil near that part area of the base, really. So yeah, that's sat down. The ore truck's just survived, at least they're regenerating health. Now we're going to need to fight yellow. They're coming in the middle, into the ore part of the map. You can see again with tracking, it hasn't worked out well for them. Some of the tanks have become spread out around the top as well. We can see they've got quite a lot of tanks. They might have a bit more than me. It looks like they've definitely got the upper hand in this one. I'm going to need to bring more tanks across if I'm going to survive. I've got another Tesla coil there, so I'm going to build it there because that part of the map is a bit sparse for defence. Right, I don't know what happened to my radar dome. It might have been an air attack, I think. If it was an air attack, they probably lost some things because I've got some rocket men and SAM sites around. So yeah, I think it was probably an air attack that did that. I'm not too worried about it at the moment. Right, let's... So I'm getting my tanks in, they're going for ore trucks now. I've got my Tesla coils that'll help me a little bit. I think they're pulling the tanks back a bit now because I've noticed that I've got Tesla. I really need it to be the Tesla to be more on the yacht to protect my yacht trucks though, that's the only issue. So I'm going to have to fight here for now. You can see purple are bringing the planes through. I think what they're doing is they're trying to limit my defences so that yellow can have an easier run. We can see that the civilians are coming from the left. I haven't had a chance to replace the dogs. And they blew up both a war factory and an ore refinery. So yeah, my left side of my base is getting absolutely decimated. Now I'm fighting with yellow, and yeah, I'm obviously losing there, even with the Tesla coils helping me. So that part of my base is gone. So yeah, at the moment it's pretty much game over. I haven't got any war factories now, and soon I think yellow are gonna destroy that Tesla coil, and I think they'll go for my ore refinery, so I won't have an ore refinery to get any more money after this. Yep, they're destroying that, and it's pretty much good game. It's over. I'm going to sell up now. What I probably should have done in this game is when I went up to attack purple early on, I probably should have gone straight to the right and gone for yellow's ore trucks while they were attacking my teammates, but that's hindsight for you. It might have worked out a little bit better if I'd done that. Right, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.